400 years of scheming, sarcasm, and Baldrick's turnip stew. Blackadder gave us one of British television's sharpest comedies ever made. But decades have passed since Edmund Blackadder first plotted his way through history. Today, we're revisiting the 10 faces who brought this legendary show to life. Some are still with us, still working, still making us laugh. Others, sadly, have left the stage forever. Let's find out who's still alive and who's gone. 1. Rick Mayall. Nobody entered a room like Rick Mayall's Lord Flashheart. Loud, arrogant, impossibly charming, he stole every scene he touched across Blackadder 2, Blackadder Goes Forth, and Back and Forth. Mayall was already a comedy icon before Blackadder, having built his reputation through the raw energy of British alternative comedy in the 1980s. His Flashheart became one of the show's most quoted, most beloved characters, despite appearing in just a handful of episodes. Tragically, Rick Mayall passed away in June 2014 at the age of 56, following a sudden cardiac event. His larger-than-life presence remains impossible to replace, even a decade later. 2. Tony Robinson. Now for some good news. Tony Robinson, the man behind Blackadder's ever-loyal, ever-filthy servant Baldrick, is very much still with us. Baldrick's cunning plans became one of the most iconic running gags in British comedy history, and Robinson played him across all 4 series. But his career didn't stop there. He went on to host the long-running documentary series Time Team, was knighted for his services to broadcasting and charity, and remains active in British television to this day. Decades after digging his last on-screen turnip, Sir Tony Robinson continues to be a beloved, familiar face across the UK. 3. Patsy Byrne. Patsy Byrne brought warmth and chaos to Blackadder 2 as Nursey, Queen Elizabeth's endlessly devoted, slightly dim nanny. Her chemistry with Miranda Richardson's Queenie made for some of the show's most memorable comic exchanges. Byrne had built a long career on British stage and television long before joining the Blackadder cast, and her role as Nursey remains one of her most fondly remembered performances. Sadly, Patsy Byrne passed away in June 2014, just weeks after her co-star Rick Mayall, at the age of 80. Fans and cast members alike mourned the loss of another beloved piece of the Blackadder family. 4. Stephen Fry. General Melchett's booming voice and clueless bravado made him an instant fan favorite. And the man behind him, Stephen Fry, has gone on to become one of Britain's most respected and versatile public figures. Fry appeared across multiple Blackadder series, delivering some of the show's most quotable lines. Since then, he's built an extraordinary career as an actor, author, narrator, and television host, becoming a household name across the world. Now in his 60s, Stephen Fry remains active in film, television, and literature, proving that Melchett's bark was only the beginning of a remarkable, decades-long journey. 5. Frank Finlay. Frank Finlay's appearance in the very first series of Blackadder was brief but memorable, arriving in the 5th episode as part of the show's earliest historical mischief. By the time he joined the cast, Finlay was already an accomplished, Oscar-nominated actor with decades of stage and screen work behind him. He continued acting well into his later years, eventually being honored as a Commander of the Order of the British Empire for his contributions to British theatre and film. Frank Finlay passed away on January 30th, 2016, from heart failure at the age of 89, closing out a long and distinguished career. 6. Hugh Laurie. Before he became a global star as the cranky American doctor in House, Hugh Laurie was busy playing bumbling upper-class fools in Blackadder III and Blackadder Goes Forth. His performances as Prince George and the hopelessly naive Lieutenant George remain fan favorites to this day. Laurie's comic timing here laid the groundwork for one of the most successful transatlantic acting careers in television history. Today, Hugh Laurie continues working steadily across film, television, and music, Decades removed from his Blackadder days, but still fondly remembered for the role that first proved his comedic brilliance to British audiences. 7. Elspeth Grey. Elspeth Grey played Queen Gertrude across all 6 episodes of the very first Blackadder series, arriving near the end of a long and respected acting career. Also known as Baroness Rix through her marriage to actor and House of Lords member Brian Rix, Grey had appeared in numerous beloved British productions, including Doctor Who and Fawlty Towers. Off-screen, she and her husband devoted much of their lives to charity work, supporting people with disabilities. Elspeth Grey passed away on February 18, 2013, at the age of 83, remembered as both a talented performer and a dedicated humanitarian. 8. Tim McInnerny. Tim McInnerny played 2 of Blackadder's most delightfully tormented characters, the hapless Lord Percy and the perpetually frustrated Captain Darling. Both roles made him an essential part of the show's comic engine, constantly on the receiving end of Blackadder's sharp tongue. McInnerny's career flourished long after the show ended, with steady work across British television and film in the decades since. He remains active in the industry today, continuing to take on character roles across various productions. Still working, still respected, Tim McInnerny remains one of Blackadder's most enduring and recognizable supporting stars. 9. Ronald Lacey. Ronald Lacey brought unsettling comic menace to Blackadder 2 as the notorious baby-eating Bishop of Bath and Wells, a lone shark enforcer who threatened Edmund with a rather painful fate involving a hot poker. Lacey was already internationally recognized for his chilling role as Arnold Tote in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and his Blackadder appearance added another memorable villain to his resume. A respected character actor throughout his career, Lacey continued working across film and television until his passing. Ronald Lacey died in 1991, leaving behind a legacy of unforgettable, scene-stealing performances in some of Britain's biggest productions. 10. Rowan Atkinson, and finally, the man who started it all. Rowan Atkinson brought 4 different versions of Edmund Blackadder to life across 2 decades, transforming from a cowardly prince into history's most cunning schemer. Blackadder made Atkinson a household name in Britain, but it was only the beginning. He went on to create Mr. Bean, one of the most globally recognized comedy characters ever made, and continued starring in major films for decades afterward. Now in his 60s, Rowan Atkinson remains active in entertainment, still beloved by generations of fans who grew up watching him outwit kings, queens, and history itself. From Rick Miles' unforgettable Flashheart to Rowan Atkinson's legendary Blackadder himself, this cast gave us decades of sharp wit and unforgettable characters. Some have sadly left us, but their performances remain timeless. Others are still out there, still working, still carrying the legacy of one of Britain's greatest comedies forward. If this trip down memory lane brought back some laughs, hit like, subscribe, and let us know your favorite Blackadder character in the comments below.